what a show. I just finished watching NXT Halloween Havoc. And don't get me wrong, NXT always does well pay-per-view wise in my opinion. But that was just so, we started the show off with fun, the entertainment for me. One of the matches I was really looking forward to, which was Javon Evans, Leon Slater versus Mr. Iguana and La Parka. And the reason I wanted to see that match so bad is just like, for one, you have all these great wrestlers in the ring, and I feel like they're all so good at entertainment. So I was always in my mind like, this is like peak tag team. And it was just that. We got like a lot of entertainment aspects, like Mr. Iguana, he's like playing dead. And then, Yeska comes out. Yeska, I feel like I'm saying that wrong. I hope I'm not. But, little Iguana comes out. And, there's a point where he tells Javon and Leon he'll take on both of them. And he gets his little Iguana and he starts going to work. And then it's funny, like Javon and Leon, they kind of get a hold of the puppet at times. They're throwing it around, disgusted with it, kind of. It was just dope, La Parka's hitting dance moves, Javon's taunting him backhand dance moves. It was just fire, and just like, it was just constant like excitement, It was definitely, I think, a great way to kick off the show in terms of getting like the crowd excited. And Javon and Leon won the match, which I thought they would. Like, I didn't really see a reason for La Parka and Mr. Iguana to win, and I kind of always felt like this wouldn't be the last of Javon and Leon. I don't know, I just feel like this is gonna go for a bit, and then, they'll kind of run back their match for the X Division Championship, but we'll see. We move on. Ego. I don't know why I have to keep doing that. It's like ridiculous. So Ethan Page, he fights Dr. Wagner Jr. for his NXT North American Championship in a Day of the Dead match, which was like, whoa. So a lot of crazy spots happen in that match for sure. One in particular, there's a part where like Dr. Wagner Jr. he gets pushed into like the table is like upside down with like the sticks up or whatever, and like Ethan pushes him into it, and like his throat, is just like messed up. And then there's a point where Dr. Wagner Jr. like, he kind of ties up Ethan somehow, and he puts like what did he do, a chair on his butt, and he just does a move to him, and I was like, whoa. And it was like impressive. It was weird, watching happen in real time. It was just like, what is this? And then it's like one of those things where it's weird, but then you're just like, wow, that's kind of interesting. I've never seen something like that before. Another thing is like Ethan tears his mask off, which was really nuts. And, Ethan ends up retaining because he tears the mask, he has the mask ripped in half. He basically spins the mask around, throws baby powder on that man, and then puts him through a table and retains. And I was like, whoa. And it's crazy that, how do I say it? So, I was not the biggest Ethan Page fan, like, for a minute. I just was not a fan. And I think him doing the Canadian North American Championship gimmick, I think that really made me like more interested in his character. And, I enjoy his matches as well, because I feel like he's very aggressive, like he's very good at being a heel. And that's one thing I'll always give him. And I'm really rocking with Ethan right now. I'm happy he retained, and that match was phenomenal for sure. Next up, we have Blake Monroe versus Zarya for the NXT Women's North American Championship. And the reason that Zarya filled in, is because Sol Aruka announced that she's injured. And for some reason, I would think you wouldn't come ringside. But hey, I'm not Sol. I don't know how that works with her. So, Sol comes ringside with Zarya. And like Blake is just like very hard-hitting. Zarya too, but I like Blake Monroe a lot. I know some people don't or whatever. I don't know why, but like I think as a heel and just a wrestler, I think she's great. I think her song is fire. Glimmers forever like bells in a chain. She just has the whole A factor for me. So with Blake, she's very hard hitting. She does a lot of crazy stuff. There's a point in the match where I don't think it was an accident, but she accidentally, hits Soul and makes her fall. And then Zarya gets kind of caught up in that, like, oh my God, Soul, are you okay? Because Soul's injured. So she just kind of loses focus of the match, and she kind of tends to Soul. And that helps Blake Monroe capitalize. And Blake is the new women's NXT North American champion, which I was happy, and that was my pick as well. I don't know. I really like her. She does it for me, for sure. And I'm also excited to see what happens next with Zarya and Soul, because I'm kind of wondering if Soul's injury is not as bad as we think, or maybe she's not injured at all. Because I thought about it too. I was just like, they didn't really do anything for the Speed Championship, and if you're going to be out for a long time, in the men's aspect, they're having like tournaments for that. So it's like, why would they not do something with the women's one? So I kind of thought about that, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, Blake Monroe is the new women's NXT champion, and glamour is forever. Next up, another favorite match. I wish actually they saved this match for the last match. I think it made more sense for me, but I'm not Shawn Michaels. So the next match, we get JC Jane versus Tatum Paxley for the women's NXT championship, which I thought was amazing. Now, a lot went on in this match where, Tatum's basically getting jumped most of the match by Fatal Influence. The referee finally has, his moment of just like, you're out for both sides, because they kind of start causing problems. And then we get the two ladies just going at it by themselves. And they had an amazing match, I feel. Then the culling, they come back out, and the referee is like, no, you can't be here, blah, blah. Fatal Influence comes back out. And then Izzy Trader Dame. Izzy, on the other side where the referee's not paying attention, she grabs the championship, and she looks at her sweet bestie, Tatum, and she charges like she's gonna hit her with it. And Tatum ducks, and she ends up getting caught up by JC Jane. And Tatum's able to capitalize, and Tatum Paxley is the new NXT champion. And you could tell that Izzy meant to do that to Tatum instead of JC, because, the culling, the rest of the other two guys, they get back in the ring, and they're just like, oh my God, Tatum, genuine, very genuine emotions, very happy. Izzy is just not having it. She's just like caught up and just like, I don't even want to say disappointed. She looked like irritated or upset that Tatum won, though. Like, oh my gosh, my plans got foiled. I was about to take you out. And she surely was going to take her out. I just feel it. So that's one thing. I'm really happy that Tatum won. Like, I wanted Tatum to win. I didn't think she would. I thought they would turn on her and cost her the belt, actually. So I love this change of events. And obviously, I see it going into something with her and Izzy. And I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great storyline. But Tatum did it. Next up, we have Brother Nero and Broken Matt Hardy versus Dark State. This match was really good. It was really good. I'm surprised Dark State actually won, which I was kind of like, but it's fine. It's just, I have to stop being delusional, because I just love the Hardys so much. I always have. But, I got to just relive things. And then Jeff Hardy, he had like Bray Wyatt's like kind of face mask as his face paint, which I thought was really dope. Got to see them take some crazy spots as always. Dark State ended up, getting the belts back, and we'll see what happens. I mean, the cool part about that is, they had a promo backstage with Javon Evans and Leon Slater, and they basically were saying like they're gonna like try to be up next to go and face Dark State. And I think the idea of putting Javon Evans and Leon Slater in a tag team and actually having them have those titles is brilliant. I think those two together are perfect. I feel like they complement each other really well, and I feel like they just have good chemistry, whether they're fighting each other or whether they're tag team, which we saw at Halloween Havoc. I like them together a whole lot. So now we move on to the last match, which was Ricky Saints versus Trick Williams for the men's NXT championship. And I don't want to like complain, I really wish they saved the women's one. I feel like it was more exciting to me. in terms of being the main event, especially with Tatum winning, because that was very unexpected. I feel like a lot of people went into the match expecting JC to retain. So it was just, storyline wise, it was a lot going on. And I do wish the women did get that main event. But, we have Trick and Ricky. And, it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a bad match at all. Ricky Saints ended up retaining. And, I think I'm delusional. I kind of, for some reason, thought maybe Opal would come out or something. But it didn't happen. Another thing for me, though, is, Trick Williams, I always feel like there's nothing else for him to do in NXT. He's done everything I feel he could do. I feel like he's hit all the heights he could hit, even holding the TNA championship. He literally, in my opinion, has nothing else to do. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if this was Trick's last match in NXT and we just don't know. Maybe on SmackDown he pops up, because I feel like if Raw or SmackDown, could use anybody more, it would definitely be SmackDown. I feel like SmackDown, I don't want to say it's lacking, but I feel like Raw has more star power than SmackDown right now. And I think a Trick Williams would fit there really well. And also, you have Carmelo there, so you could easily, run that back in some capacity if you want, because Trick is a super heel and then Carmelo's a babyface technically right now. So you could even do something with that, which I think that would surely elevate both of them as well, because just as many people watch NXT, you have a lot of people that don't know the history of those two. So maybe showing video packages of their friendship and Trick Mellow Gang, and I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't mind watching them have another feud, because I was really invested in what happened the first time. But Trick loses, Ricky retains. And then, they go backstage to Tatum, and they're just kind of celebrating, oh my gosh, you did it. Izzy just kind of hater of the year energy. I don't trust her. But, yeah, Tatum's like, oh my gosh, if you think that this was crazy, NXT on Tuesday is going to be crazy. And then she's like, oh. And she's just happy. And I'm so excited for her, because, watching her throughout the years, she's really grown on me. So I really was rooting for her tonight, and I'm really shocked that she won, because I didn't expect it. And I kind of like that. I feel like NXT is very unpredictable as of lately, I feel like it's not one of those things anymore with NXT where I can go into it okay, whatever, blah, blah. But I think that's also a situation of maybe they're going to just push some people. I wouldn't be surprised if JC and Fatal Influence leave as well, honestly, because I feel like you have so many women in NXT that, again, with SmackDown lacking, I feel like you could easily bring them into SmackDown. I don't know. And, JC could do something with Tiffany. I'm not trying to say she should, straight get a title shot, but, you could do something with that in some capacity. So, I don't know. I definitely think we're about to get some new call-ups. I'm excited for SmackDown for sure. I think Raw may at some point here and there, but I think SmackDown really could use it a lot more, especially the women's division. Especially the women's division. But yeah, I think this was a great pay-per-view. Again, I always feel like NXT delivers on pay-per-views. But yeah, let me know what you thought about Halloween Havoc if you would like to in the comments below. And thank you for watching. Please enjoy your day. Bye-bye.